The sirens started 3 days ago, and they haven't stopped since. No tornado, no wind, not even rain. Just that sound, screaming through the air like it's alive. And last night, it started calling my name. The town that never stops screaming. It's been 79 hours since the first siren started. I counted them. I have to. When something that loud and that wrong never stops, you start measuring your sanity by the pauses between screams. 12 minutes and 38 seconds, on average. That's how long the silence lasts before the next one comes. It starts low, a trembling hum in the distance, and then builds into a shriek that makes your ribs ache. The sound doesn't just come from the sky anymore. It feels like it's inside the walls, humming through the pipes and the wires, vibrating under the skin. We were told to shelter in place. We did. We were told to stay calm. We tried. But on the third day, the power went out. Phones lost signal, radios turned to static, and then the people started to change. Not in a dramatic, movie, monster way. It started small. The first thing I noticed was how quiet everyone got between the sirens. You'd expect people to fill the silence with talking, checking on each other, trying to make sense of it. But instead, it was like the entire town forgot how. Like they were waiting for something, listening for it. The sky that doesn't move. The strange thing is, there's no wind, not even a breeze. The sky has been locked in the same heavy gray blanket since this all began. The clouds don't move. The air doesn't shift. The temperature hasn't changed in 3 days. It's like we're inside a photograph, frozen in a single, terrible moment. When I opened my window yesterday morning, I thought I heard whispers underneath the siren. It wasn't the wind. There was no wind. It was something else. Something human. It came from everywhere and nowhere. Faint, overlapping voices, whispering fast, like 100 people praying at once in a language I didn't understand. I closed the window and shoved a towel under the crack, but I still hear them sometimes when I try to sleep. They always start right before the next siren goes off. I thought about leaving town. Everyone did. But when you drive to the edge of town, the highway loops back. Literally, I tried it myself. I left my house, past the gas station, the diner, the old water tower. Then, same street again. Same gas station. Same everything. It's like the town's folded in on itself. And in the middle of it, that sound keeps screaming from the sky. The people who stopped blinking on the 4th day, people started walking. No one said where they were going. They just left their houses in silence, doors wide open, lights still on, and drifted into the streets. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. They moved slowly, like they were sleepwalking. I watched through my blinds as they gathered near the center of town, forming a circle in the street. They were all looking up at the sky. I saw Mrs. Halvorsen again, the old lady who pointed at my window. She was standing at the edge of the circle, still wearing her nightgown, barefoot. Her face was tilted toward the clouds, eyes wide open. She wasn't blinking. None of them were. Then, as the siren began again, they smiled, all at once. Like something about that sound made them happy. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't make a sound. The air in the house felt thick, syrupy, like breathing underwater. I backed away from the window and tripped over my emergency kit. My flashlight rolled across the floor and hit the wall. That's when I noticed something strange. The siren. It wasn't coming from the tower anymore. It was coming from the people. The sound was inside them. Their mouths were open, the corners of their lips stretching wider than they should. The wailing filled the night, identical in pitch and rhythm to the mechanical siren that had haunted us for days. Only now, it was organic. It pulsed like breathing. The man from the radio station, by the 5th day, I was running out of food and sanity. I decided to break into the old broadcast station at the edge of town. If anyone could explain what was happening, It had to be there. The place was half collapsed, roof caved in from years of neglect. I kicked the back door open and found the emergency lights flickering faintly. The generator was still running, humming with that same awful tone that echoed through the sirens outside. The control room smelled like ozone and burned metal. Most of the panels were smashed, but the old microphone was still on. A red recording light blinked, steady and rhythmic. When I leaned close, I heard a voice. "If you're hearing this, it's already too late." The voice cracked. Dry and broken, male. Probably mid-40s. It continued. "This isn't a storm. It's a signal." Static filled the line. We thought it was a government test. Frequency experiment. But it's not human. It came from above the cloud line. Instruments couldn't locate the source. It's like the sound's alive. The first time we played it on air, people started changing. My stomach twisted. They told us to keep the sirens going, said it was the only thing keeping them away. But it's not. The siren doesn't keep them out. It keeps them fed. The sound isn't a warning, it's a call. The voice dissolved into static. Then, faintly, beneath the noise, I heard something breathing on the other end. Wet, slow, heavy. And then, it whispered my name. I yanked the power cord out of the wall. The hum died instantly. But outside, the siren continued. Except this time the siren was saying words. The siren that spoke at first. It was too distorted to make out. But as it went on, I began to hear patterns in the noise, like syllables being dragged through static. Then, clear as day, I heard it. "Kim, Oot." I froze. The voice wasn't mechanical anymore. It was human. Male. But stretched and warped, like it was being forced through a machine. "Ubi Cam Cu." I fell to the floor shaking, clutching my ears. The voice grew louder, sharper, until my vision blurred. "Yo bibs, sosin." My front door creaked open. I didn't open it. Something tall stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the gray light outside. It didn't move like a person. It twitched, like frames of a broken film reel. Its arms were too long. Its head tilted too far to the side. And then it made the sound. That same, deafening siren, but coming from deep inside its chest. So loud it rattled the windows and made the floorboards shiver. I crawled backward, kicking over furniture, until I reached the basement stairs. I slammed the door shut behind me and blocked it with a shelf. The siren went silent. For the first time in 5 days, there was absolute quiet. The stillness. I don't know how long I stayed in the basement. Hours, maybe days. I stopped keeping track after the batteries in my watch died. The silence was worse than the sound. Sometimes I could hear faint tapping on the basement door, rhythmic, patient. Sometimes it whispered my name in the same slow, broken tone. Sometimes it laughed. When I finally worked up the courage to look through the small window near the ceiling, I saw the world outside was no longer gray. It was white. Thick, rolling fog had swallowed the town. I couldn't see the houses anymore, only faint silhouettes moving through the mist. They were walking in perfect unison. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands, all heading toward the same direction. The old tornado siren tower. Something was hanging from it. Something huge. The thing above the tower, I had to know what it was. Curiosity has a way of eating you alive when fear isn't enough to stop it. I slipped out after dark. Or what I thought was dark. The sky doesn't really change anymore. Just dull, dead light. The streets were empty except for the mist. Every few steps, I'd hear faint whispers echoing through it. The closer I got to the tower, the louder they became. When I reached the clearing, I froze. The people who had vanished were all there, kneeling around the base of the tower, heads bowed, hands clasped like they were praying. And above them, something hung from the siren's frame. It wasn't human. Its body was long and thin, like it had been stretched too far. Dozens of wires were tangled around it, piercing through its skin, connecting it to the metal frame like veins. Its face, or what was left of it, was covered by a cracked siren speaker, fused directly into the bone. Every time the siren wailed, its chest moved, like the sound was coming from inside it. The thing twitched, and the crowd whispered louder. Then its head turned toward me. The truth, its voice wasn't one voice. It was many. Every missing person, every scream, every siren blended together into one agonizing perfect tone. Dui armadyu. My knees buckled. Didababi te akipo bielo. I shook my head. Below. What are you talking about? The skrars nivi far wayu. The wires around its body pulsed like veins, and I realized they weren't wires, they were roots. Black, pulsing roots that dug deep into the ground. Thris no to arnadio. The earth began to tremble. The fog thickened, swirling violently around the tower. The kneeling people lifted their heads in unison, the eyes completely white. Th doar. Before I could move, the ground beneath the tower split open. From the crack came light. Not the warm kind, not heavenly, cold, blinding white. The people began to scream. No, sing. In harmony with the siren. The thing above the tower convulsed, its chest bursting open with light. And something began to crawl out of the crack beneath it. Something vast. Something that didn't fit in the world. I ran. The endless loop. I don't remember how I got home. My shoes were covered in mud. My skin burned like frostbite. My ears rang with the sound of that light. The sirens stopped sometime during the night. At first, I thought that meant it was over. But when I woke up the next morning, the air was heavier than before. The fog was gone. The sky was no longer gray, it was black. Pitch black, even though the sun should have been up. Then I heard it again, faint at first. In the distance. The siren. I turned on the radio. Hoping, praying, to hear static, or maybe someone else's voice. But there was only one channel left. And it was playing that same message. Tornado warning in effect. Seek immediate shelter. Do not attempt to leave the area. The timestamp said it was day 1. All over again. The final broadcast. I'm recording this now from the same radio booth where I found the last message. The generator's still running, and the red light is on. If anyone hears this, if anyone outside can still hear anything, please, don't listen to the sirens. They're not warnings. They're invitations. Something in the sky is calling through them, mimicking our emergency systems, learning our words. Every town that hears it becomes another loop. Another voice added to the chorus. They don't destroy, they collect. Every scream, every whisper, every human sound, they feed on it. They become it. The sound is how they spread. So when you hear that long, rising wail in the distance, when your local radio says, there's been a tornado warning for 3 days straight, don't take shelter. Don't look at the sky. Run. Because it isn't a tornado. It's us. It's what's left of us, screaming forever in the storm that never comes.